Kostya had to come back. Otherwise, he would have been left without any money at all. But at the right moment, he remembered his home in a remote Siberian village. He spent his childhood there, where he grew up and learned about life. But at one point, his grandmother took him to Kemerovo in the middle of the night, and he never returned there. He did not know the reason for his departure, and his grandmother never mentioned it. Kostya had no parents, and there was no one to ask except his grandmother. Almost 20 years later, when Kostya's business failed, he began to seize any opportunity to get money for a living. And so, when there were no more than 10,000 left in his pocket, the guy remembered the house. This thought came to him suddenly while he was taking a bath. So I had to go back. The journey took almost a day. Upon arrival, Kostya decided to go straight from the station to the house, take a look at what and how, and then go to the local store for everything necessary for the restoration of the house. He was sure that during his absence, the house had been stolen by local rowdies and he would have to rebuild every millimeter of the hut. Inhaling the scent of fresh grass, Kostya walked through a long-forgotten, but such a native village. Everything seemed familiar to him and reminded him of his distant childhood. An old school, a broken hangar at the intersection, an abandoned cafe. The only strange thing is that no one is in sight on the street, everyone is sitting at home, but they are swarming in the yards. When he reached the first corner, he saw an old acquaintance of his grandmother. It seemed that she hadn't changed at all in 20 years, even though she was the same age as Kostya's grandmother, who had been dead for 5 years. "Hello, Aunt Light," Kostya shouted as he passed by. "Oh, hello, Kostenka. Why are you here? Is he back yet?" "Well, yes, he's back," Kostya replied, noticing Grandma's strange concern. But, deciding to himself that this was just an old man's quirk, he tuned into the conversation. "Oh, what's happening?" Aunt Sveta said softly, as if to herself. "You're still so young." Kostya pretended that he hadn't heard the last words and said goodbye. He walked on, deep in thought. The old woman's words seemed too strange to him. On the way home, he met old acquaintances, waving lazily at them in greeting. They're all old people, and there aren't any young people left. The strange thing was that no one seemed to have aged in 20 years. When Kostya came home, he saw that nothing had changed inside for so long. There was no dust or cobwebs, as if someone had carefully cleaned up before his arrival. Leaving his backpack on the veranda, the young man walked around the courtyard, where he used to play with his friends when he was little. The memories came flooding back to him just now. Here he is with a neighbor's boy, playing catch-up in the yard. There was a bale of hay that he had once set on fire with his grandmother's magnifying glass. Oh, and there was smoke. Oh, here's the barn where he often hid from his grandmother if something went wrong. Suddenly, another memory surfaced. It's 2 o'clock in the morning. Restless faces. An overcrowded commuter train. Fear. Shaking off the terrible memories, Kostya came out of the fence. Suddenly, he saw a neighbor, an old drunk named Lucas. He was sitting at the gate, smoking and looking high into the sky, whispering something to himself. "Good afternoon." Kostya shouted to him, "How is it today?" "What's new?" The drunk lazily turned his head, spat, then got up and went to Kostya. His gait, despite his age, was just as confident and springy. "Kind? Since you're here, how kind is he?" Lucas asked. There was a kind of regret mixed with despair in his eyes. Since you came back here, remember your name. You are no more. Just like your grandmother. Just like me. Just like everyone else. That's it. So answer me, good afternoon? The strange words threw Kostya off balance. What do you mean, no? Here I am, standing. And you're standing here too. What does my grandmother have to do with it? She died a long time ago. Or... wait. Then the meaning of the drunkard's strange words came to the bone. That's why no one has changed. That's why he couldn't hear a single bird. That's why he didn't want to come here so much. Everyone here has been dead for a long time. Something terrible happened here 20 years ago. Something she and her grandmother had managed to escape from. It's finally here, Lucas said sullenly. We're all back here. And you can't leave anymore. We've been ordered back. Yes, it is understandable. Okay, go get settled, if you can say so. Lucas went into his enclosure. Kostya stood motionless for a minute, realizing everything that the neighbor had said to him and what he had thought of himself. His body went into a fever. He could no longer stand and broke into a run. In a panic, he took his backpack and, without even locking the door, ran to the bus stop. He sat there all day waiting for an electric train or at least a passing freight train. But not a single train passed. He did not know that trains no longer run here. He also didn't know that an hour ago, he was found drowned in his own bathroom.